This movie describes how to use the activity number navigation, addition on the open number line. An open number line is one that contains no numbers, no tick marks, and no scaling. In the case of our activity, the open number line does contain just one number, and that's 0. Let's use an open number line to find the sum of 17 and 78. I'll come over here to my Custom Tools icon and click and hold it and choose New Number Line. This gives me an open number line with just one point on it labeled 0, and I can place this number line anywhere I like on my screen just by clicking. So I'll place it here. Now I'm going to use some arcs to add 17 plus 78. So I'll come back to my Custom Tools and I'll choose Arc with Value. So first I'll need to travel from 0 to 17. And these numbers that you see here in the lower right corner, these are the values that I can add and subtract on my number line. So to reach 17, let's start by first adding 10 to 0. So I'll click 10, and that immediately gives me an arc that's labeled with a 10 above it, and this point that's labeled 10, and I can place it anywhere I like on my number line. So I'll click and place it here. Now I'll add 7, so I'll click 7, and now I immediately get an arc attached to my first arc, this one of length 7, and when I place this point onto my number line, it turns red, the line, to indicate that the point is on the line, and let me just click. So now I have 10 plus 7, or 17. Now I'd like to add 78 to 17, and there are several ways I can do it. One way would be to first add 70 and then 8. But let's try a different method that might take advantage of some mental math skills that I have. First, let's start at 17 and add 3. So I'll click 3, and 17 plus 3, that brings me to 20. And now I'm going to take 20 and add 70 to that, and I predict that will land me at 90. So I'll click 70, and there's my arc of length 70, and it does take me to 90. Finally, I need to add another 5, so 90 plus 5, that should be 95, and yes. So here I have an entire representation of my addition problem. I see 17, and then 78 broken down into 3, 70, and 5. Now let's solve this problem a different way. I'll come back to my Custom Tools, and I'll choose New Number Line, and that gives me another open number line that I'll place here. And let's come back and choose Arc with Value. And this time, to reach 17, I'm going to do something a bit different. First, I'm going to click 20 to add 20 to 0. And now I'm going to subtract 3. So I click 3, and notice what happens here. This point, which is to the right of 20, shows a positive 3 and a green arc. When the point moves to the left of 20, though, the value turns to negative 3 and the arc becomes red. So now I'm subtracting 3. So I'll click to place a point, and I see I've gone from 0 to 20 and back 3 to 17. Okay, so now let's use this strategy again, and to add 78 to 17, first I'll add 80, so I'll click 80, and that's easy. 17 plus 80 is 97. And now I'll subtract 2, so I'll click 2, move this point to the left of 97, and once again I see that we've landed at 95. Now there's one other tool to show you, and that's the Arc tool. And that works essentially the same way as the Arc with Value tool, but with one difference. Let's suppose that we'd like to add 8 to 95. Well, I click 8, and I see that my arc is labeled with an 8, but this point doesn't tell me where I landed. That's now my job to figure out. So I can use either of these arcs when solving the problems, one that's a little easier that tells me where I've landed on my open number line, and the other that leaves that responsibility to me.